Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. Today's look at the World Rugby men's rankings for the weekend of the 15th and 17th September. A preview of what could happen with the World Rugby rankings for the men's games ahead of this weekend. A segment we're going to start doing ahead of every single international weekend with Tier 1 Nation. We're going to have a look at exactly what the fixtures are and what they could potentially mean for the world rankings, because that is very much the buzz at the moment. Ahead of the World Cup next year, as we come to the end of the Rugby Championship, the last 2 weeks. But I think that this sort of thing becomes a lot more interesting when it comes to the end of year tour, where obviously there are going to be far more potential moves up and down the world ranking table as all the various teams do drop out. But there's quite a lot of different possibilities for this weekend. So we're going to go look at them and see who can drop, who can go up. And what sort of the risks and the gains could be this weekend. Before we do, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. So this is according to the World Rugby website. This is basically, based on the various systems and stuff like that, which takes into account a variety of things such as home advantage, the ranking that the team you're playing against is, whether you're home or away, as well as sort of how many points you win or draw or lose by. Well, it's not draw, but lose by. So if we look at this weekend, the permutations are as follows. Australia can climb above Scotland into 7th place if they beat New Zealand. 6th is possible if Argentina do not beat South Africa. So if South Africa and Australia were to both win, then Australia can move up into 6th, as high as 6th. The Wallabies, however, can also drop to a new low of 9th if they are beaten by New Zealand. So if they lose, they will drop down to 9th. New Zealand will once more fall to their lowest ever rankings of 5th if they do not win today. And whilst a victorious New Zealand will climb above a beaten South Africa. So if South Africa lose and Australia and New Zealand win, they will move up ahead of South Africa. And South Africa can drop below New Zealand, but can also drop below England if they are beaten by more than 15 points. So if the Springboks get absolutely hammered this weekend and New Zealand win, we can drop below New Zealand and England. However, the Springboks cannot improve on their 3rd place in victory. They can close into within a 0.41 rating until France. So you can try and sort of close the gap, and maybe next weekend, depending on what happens in other ways, in other places, for example, could potentially try and get even closer to France ahead of the end of their tour. Argentina will fall at least 1 place if South Africa, if they lose to South Africa, and 2 if Australia beat New Zealand and they lose to South Africa. And the last final thing is Argentina could drop as low as 9th if they lose by more than 15 points and Australia wins. So quite a realm of different things. We could have Argentina going down to 9th. We could have the Wallabies going down to the 9th. We could have New Zealand going up ahead of South Africa. We could have South Africa falling below New Zealand and England. The only thing that can't happen is South Africa can't go up. So South Africa cannot improve on their 3rd place. They cannot go ahead of France, but they can very much go down and slip quite far down if things were to not go into plan. So as I said, a lot of different things that are going. I mean, this is just across 2 matches, and there's still, a variety of different things that can happen. So I'd be surprised if we see, even in either game, a points margin of more than 15 points. I think New Zealand would have to really play well to beat Australia by 15 points, because I think the Peninsula Cup, for example, is always quite close. But you never know what's going to happen. And I think I'll be very surprised if there's more than a 15-point gap between South Africa and Argentina. So I don't think that we're going to see, for example, South Africa falling below England. And I don't think that Argentina going through dropping down to 9th. I'll be surprised if, we see Argentina, Argentina can't go up. So Argentina can improve in 7th place, even with the victory by more than 15 points, so they can't go up. But I think the biggest sort of loser, potentially this weekend, could be the Wallabies, who go down to 9th in the world if they lose. So they could very quickly slip down. The other teams have to more things have to go wrong for them to really sort of slide down that World Rugby rankings table. Obviously, once the rankings are confirmed after the weekend, we will do a video on Monday recapping the action and seeing where everybody moves. And then in a week's time, we'll be able to show you exactly what's going to be happening next weekend ahead of those sort of final matches. But yeah, let me know what you think of the world rankings down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.